He took at least 9 that we know about. And I'm not speculating because he told this to me himself.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons.
Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging.
I just need you to know that I see you and I'm proud of you. I need you to remember that you're royal and we're proud.
Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for coming in early on a Sunday morning and right before we get to our football day, man. For week 1, man, I'm excited. Someone hit me and said that they couldn't hear my video, so I'm gonna sit down live from the Hawthorne Estate, man. I'm gonna sit down and just explain this to you guys, man. I'm gonna say it and maybe add a little bit more details. Jermall Charlo is the he hasn't fought. It will be 2 years the next time he fights. He is the pawn of Showtime and Al Haymon. And I remember during COVID, Jermall Charlo released that Jermall Charlo turned down the Canelo fight years ago. You know why he turned down that fight years ago? Because Al Haymon told him not to take the fight at that time. You know why Jermall Charlo didn't take that 3-fight deal with DAZN? Because Al Haymon told him not to. And now when we look at things, and by the way, I don't even think by DAZN, I don't even think that they would have paid them those 3 fights, but outside those 3 fights, I think their business plan was fucked up too. So by no means am I saying DAZN was the solution, because their failed business model, which I predicted from day one, was going to fail in America, and it absolutely did. And had I not been unbiased, I would have predicted the same thing, because guess what? Eddie Hearn and Al Haymon had the same business plan. Come into America with a splash, overpay. Can't do it. Same business plan. Except one is black. And when he hangs up the phone, he says, I love you. I care about you. And I don't know what Eddie Hearn says. I've never been on the phone with him. Jermall Charlo, no matter what happens moving forward, career has been destroyed by Steven Espinoza and Al Haymon, because he was the cherry pick for Canelo to get him to join the PBC roster. Just like Deontay Wilder's career was derailed a bit because Al Haymon and Steven Espinoza did the same thing to Anthony Joshua to get him to sign. I'm going to do a video on that so it's not muttered, so it can be titled. We don't want to talk about that because we have fallen in love with these how you say it? I don't know. Whatever call it, these entities. And it made Deontay Wilder go in a different direction. And Jermall Charlo, it's like to a point where you can't give a man absolute power over you. No matter how much they love you or you love them or you believe they have your best interests at heart, you got to be able to make a move. And now Steven Espinoza says, we're not going after Demetrius Andrade. No way. Al Haymon, and because he knows Al Haymon can't put up the money for that fight, or won't put up the money for the fight. He can. Every PBC fighter said inactivity is destroying them. J-Rock lost because of inactivity. Jared Hurd lost because of inactivity. And all these fighters are fighting once a year. The $1 million fighters. Jermall Charlo can't defend his belts. Jermall Charlo ain't fought in July, August, June, July, August, September. 15 months. But the earliest he can fight is probably next February. While the onus, I always believe in personal accountability, is on the fighter. But you always got these promoters that always want to keep you in a position of need. And Al Haymon is no different than any other promoter that is out now. They want to stay in business. A promoter will never risk his franchise for one fighter, not unless he's breaking in. Then he would risk that one fighter. Kind of like Al Haymon when he fought Shane Mosley with Vernon Forrest. He risked it all. That's different. So now we at a standstill. If you want consistent boxing, you go to Top Rank. If you want to hope for the best fights, you go to PBC. And I genuinely wish I hadn't, because I would have sought this out, because the one thing you can't fool me is numbers. If I go to a fight, every 7 out of 10 PBC fights I go to is free. No sponsorships. Where are you getting the money from? I would have figured it out the same way I figured out the zone. You know what I mean? And but my relationship and with Sam Watson allowed me to ignore it, you know, or not even investigate it or question it, you know. And I wish I had told the people the truth from the beginning. Y'all would have called me a hater and a coon, and I totally understand that. And I'm happy though. Leave me alone. I'm happy, you know. So, but Jermall Charlo and Deontay Wilder, when they look back at their careers, quite possibly, I don't know this to be true. This is just an hypothesis. They're gonna look back and say Al Haymon derailed them by trying to keep himself in business. The reason why Jermall Charlo hasn't fought any competitive fights because he wanted to use him for Canelo. He wanted to bait him to use Canelo. The reason why Deontay Wilder didn't fight Charles Martin for that second belt, because Anthony Joshua had a 6-fight deal with Showtime. I know all the details. And then Eddie Hearn went and chose Sky Sports or DAZN, and Steven Espinoza had a fit. Go watch my videos. When Anthony Joshua won that fight, I told you Vladimir Klitschko, was it Vitaly? No, Vladimir Klitschko was getting in the ring. Go watch my videos. The week leading up to that fight, I told you Vladimir Klitschko was getting in the ring. I know what the fuck be going on, man. I told you what was going to happen. The reason why I say that is because it lets you know I know what's happening in the business. I told you he's fighting Vladimir Klitschko at Wembley Stadium. They thought they were going to sign Anthony Joshua. And that goes to show you, in the beginning, it may be different now, but Al Haymon didn't love Deontay Wilder like I love Deontay Wilder or thought highly of Deontay Wilder. Now, I admit I did work for Don King, you know, and I had to promote Bermain Stavern. So when you go back and read my articles, you'll definitely see that. You know, I worked for the Call and Post. But as Deontay Wilder grew, you could see the charm he had. You could see the star appeal that he had, the connection with the fans and the fighters, and the leadership qualities that he possessed. And D and I have spoke about this for sure. We spoke about this. Oh, actually, it's one of when Anthony Joshua fought. It was his reaction. He just called me out the blue. I was texting him. He just called me. What the fuck was that fight? Oh man, we actually spoke about it on camera. So you guys can go watch that video how he called me out for saying Bermain Stavern was better. and but and that's a whole nother thing. When you have a boss, I had a boss. I had an editor, and now I'm free. I'm free. I'm comfortable with me. And but the point I want to make is, when you put someone in control of your career, their job is to stay in business for as long as they can. I mean, he got John Molina. That's why all those PBC fights were in a row. PBC fighters were in a row. They got John Molina, Charles Martin, Dominic Brazil, all to get him to re-sign to Showtime. Let me pull this up so you guys can see it. Because what's his name? Anthony Josh. Early in the day, so I'm not gonna forget names. His box rec. How many PBC fighters did he fight in a row? I'm just curious. Eric Molina, Dominic Brazil, Charles Martin. Oh, before that was Dillian White. Yeah, so it was 3 PBC fighters in a row, and then Vladimir Klitschko, who was what? A PBC fighter. Not because Shelly Finkel and Al Haymon are like this. Tight. That's how he got all the fighters. If you guys don't know. Matter of fact, I'm gonna change the title on this video and just make it all one video. And there you have it. And then he went on to become the one belt short of an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. That is Anthony Joshua. And they didn't have rights to him, so they yeah, man. So and I want to be clear, this happens in every promotional company. It happens with Top Rank. For example, Devin can't fight Tank. No matter how much he push it, he can't fight him. Lomachenko can't fight Tank. No matter how much we push it, it ain't gonna happen. Shakur Stevenson can't jump up and fight Lomachenko. No matter how much we say it ain't gonna happen. Jared Anderson, that's his name, is not gonna fight Tyson Fury. No matter how much we say it ain't gonna happen. And we got to understand this. And the moment we understand this is the moment we understand the next moves. 60% of the things I be predicting in boxing just be solely on common sense. The other 40 is resources and from all over boxing. They call me or DM me and let me know the skinny. So, but understand the truths, y'all. And once we understand this, man, we become a more proactive people. It's like go watch do a timeline. If they have it on on YouTube, watch it. Go watch a time lapse of Martin Luther King's career. You'll see how they had his hands deep, how the government, the people in charge, had their hands deeply entrenched in him. And then go watch his speeches after 1966. Go watch them. Completely different. Not passive, not docile, not hopeful. More direct, intense. Oh, the intensity in his speeches and the forwardness is astronomically different. I mean, very similar to Malcolm X in 1966. So I want you guys to understand that Jermall, Charlo, and Deontay Wilder's career was delayed because of the greed of an Al Haymon. Simply put, Anthony Joshua still would be Anthony Joshua I'm not going to sit here and say Anthony Joshua had a pulse. He would have been a star. But without that belt, that should have been the biggest fight in Barclay history, a unification heavyweight bout in Barclay. Charles Martin, where he won it at. Deontay Wilder, where he knocked out Spilka. Would have been a sold-out pay-per-view fight. Oh, but they didn't do pay-per-view back then. DAZN raises its prices from $9.99 to $19.99 a month. Everyone goes buck wild, including me. I say it's a fraud. It's a scam. It's a sham. Al Haymon goes from free to $75 for Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz. It's a great business move. Everybody's quiet. Many people are quiet. So, with that being said, I'll say this. My opinion, Jermall Charlo's career would never be the same. Jermall Charlo has probably lost out on 10 to, well, if he would have beat Canelo, we'll never know how much money he lost. How much money did Deontay Wilder lose? We'll never know, because he would have been a 2-belt heavyweight champion. Do you understand? Tyson Fury would still be 400 pounds. Anthony Joshua would have fought Deontay Wilder. It would have been nothing in between. Well, I don't say they would have fought. I wouldn't say that. But it would have been so hard for Anthony Joshua to get the names. He probably would have fought Bermain Stavern, maybe the kid out of Philadelphia, the little tank out of Philadelphia. Maybe he would have fought B.Y. Jennings, something like that. So he still would have got the American names. Don't get me wrong. But it wouldn't have came with the belts. And American boxing fans as a whole value these belts. Networks with money value the belts. That's why you always see title eliminators. And but anyways, man, I've said enough. Jermall, go Google Jermall Charlo says he turned down the fight. It'll pop up on YouTube somewhere. When they were mad at each other, he said he turned it down, but Al Haymon advised him to. It's all, I would have said this shit years ago, man. You know what I mean? And I would have been proven right in 2022. It would have took some time. Because at the end of the day, what I ultimately want is these fighters to be free, wealthy, full faculties, and being able to do what they want to do, you know. That's ultimately what I don't want these fighters going broke and needing to fight. You know, that's not what I want. So, barbershop conversations. You guys have we're an hour and 10 minutes away from kickoff, man. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace, guys. But wait. Let's 9 wives, checks and balances. Tell me, have you seen her?
He took at least 9 that we know about. And I'm not speculating because he told this to me himself.
God has a funny way of showing you lessons.
Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging.
I just need you to know that I see you and I'm proud of you. I need you to remember that you royal and we